Discover the heartwarming moment a German Shepherd uncovers an incredible truth: little girl's journey to change the neighborhood. On a bright and cheerful Saturday afternoon, the sun cast a golden glow over the quiet suburban street. Laughter echoed from backyards, but the sweetest sound came from Sarah's small home, where her spirited 7-year-old daughter, Emily, played with Max, their loyal German Shepherd. As Emily tossed a ball across the yard, Max's tail wagged like a flag, embodying joy and loyalty. The air was thick with promise and dreams, especially for Emily, who professed her future aspirations of becoming a veterinarian with vibrant enthusiasm. Her giggles painted the scene in colors of hope that contrasted sharply with the shadows of economic hardship that lingered in their lives. As Emily chased Max, his nose found something buried beneath the old oak tree, a dusty, rusted box that had lost its place in the earth over time. Curiosity danced in Emily's eyes, and with a few determined tugs, she dragged the box to the surface. The discovery sparked an electrifying thrill in the air, a kind of magic that whispered of undiscovered treasures. Inside the box, she found letters and memorabilia belonging to Mr. Thompson, the elderly war veteran at the end of the block, often regarded with suspicion and misunderstanding. Emily's heart swelled as she opened the yellowed letters, each word revealing a tapestry of bravery and loss. In those moments, she felt an undeniable connection to a man whose dreams had crumbled under the weight of economic struggle. The letters pulled her in deeper, and Emily's innocent heart ached for Mr. Thompson. She imagined a life filled with hopes and dreams, now overshadowed by isolation and misunderstanding. Inspired, she envisioned bringing his story to life, sharing it with classmates and neighbors, igniting conversations they desperately needed to have. However, as Emily began recounting her discoveries, she unwittingly stirred a storm within the community. Some neighbors dismissed Mr. Thompson as a failure, while others, warmed by Emily's pure spirit, rallied to his side. Sarah watched in quiet despair as the conflict unfolded around her. Torn between protecting Emily's relentless spirit and fearing the backlash from their tight-knit neighborhood, her heart raced with anxious tension. But that didn't quell Emily's determination. "We can't judge someone without knowing their story, Mom," she insisted, her eyes sparkling with the fierce innocence of youth. The climax came when a community meeting burst open with heated discussions. Just as the conversation spiraled into chaos, Emily stepped forward. Little voice trembling but strong, she passionately defended Mr. Thompson's dignity. "He deserves our respect," she proclaimed, her words echoing in the hall, momentarily silencing the crowd. But fate thrummed with tension. As her speech built momentum, a stray letter escaped her hand, fluttering to the ground. The room hushed, anticipation thick in the air, all eyes on the hidden truths that could alter their perceptions forever. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As the letter lay on the floor, the air felt electric with possibility. What secrets did it hide? Would it open hearts or drive deeper divides? The whispering tension hung heavy, and all that mattered now was bridging the gap of misunderstanding for Emily, for Mr. Thompson, and for their humble family striving to be seen amidst the chaos. The community held its breath, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. As the letter lay fluttering on the floor, all eyes were drawn to it like moths to a flame. The once vibrant energy of the room faded into a hush. Emily stood frozen, her heart pounding in her chest. She felt the weight of 100 gazes, each one searching for clarity. What would they think if they read it? Would they finally understand Mr. Thompson? "Go on, sweetheart," Sarah urged softly, stepping beside her daughter, her presence a gentle reminder of comfort. Emily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of her mother's love envelop her like a shield. With a quick nod, she bent down and picked up the letter, her small hands trembling slightly. The envelope bore a faded ink and the unmistakable mark of time. She tore it open carefully, her fingers brushing against the textured paper, and began to read aloud. Each word flowed from her lips, filling the silent room with the strength of a man's story long buried. "Dear Clara," Emily began. The name resonated like a distant bell. "I hope this letter finds you in good spirits." The letters revealed a man not just defined by loss, but by love, dreams, and resilience. Each paragraph whispered tales of bravery against the horrors of war, wrapped with hopes of returning to the family he cherished. Emily's voice gained power as she turned the pages, emotion pouring into her words like sunlight breaking through clouds. The community members shifted in their seats, their initial skepticism cracking under the raw emotion laid bare. Emily had a way of bringing people together. Her innocence opened hearts like doors swinging wide on a spring day. As she finished reading, the silence of the room shattered. Some neighbors looked at one another with newfound understanding, while others, who had been so quick to judge, wore expressions of shame. "That's the man we've been talking about?" Mrs. Henderson murmured, her lips pressing into a thin line as realization dawned. "Yes." Emily beamed, her confidence blooming. "He fought for us. He has a story that matters." An unexpected voice broke through the quiet. It belonged to Mr. Thompson himself, who had quietly entered the room. His frame was hunched, a distant look in his eyes, but there was undeniable strength in his presence. "You found my letters," he said softly, each word a trembling note in the crescendo of the moment. Emily rushed to him, her small hand slipping into his. "They told your story, Mr. Thompson. And it's amazing." His eyes glistened, and the room held its breath again, caught between the heartache and hope. "Thank you, young lady," he replied, his voice thick with gratitude. "I thought no one remembered." But just as things began to shift, a remaining skeptic in the corner chimed in, "But how can we trust someone like him? What if he is hiding more?" Tension swelled again, and the air crackled with unresolved feelings. Just when Emily thought the moment was lost, an idea sparked in her mind. Perhaps the answer lay not just in Mr. Thompson's past, but in their shared future. "Why don't we invite Mr. Thompson to share more of his story?" she proposed, her eyes shining with determination. The room buzzed with conversation, doubts simmering, but a sense of possibility grew. Mr. Thompson regarded Emily thoughtfully, a flicker of hope igniting in him, too. "Would you really want to hear more, kids?" he asked, his voice wavering. The room erupted in muffled excitement, and Emily smiled bright enough to rival the sun. "Yes, we want to learn. We want to understand." But just then, as stories unfolded and barriers began to hint at being torn down, Emily felt a tug at her heart. What if there were even deeper layers to uncover? What secrets still lay buried? And suddenly, she wondered, what if Mr. Thompson carried more tales that could transform them all? What would it take to really bring their community together? The audience was left hanging on the precipice of revelation, unaware that this encounter would not only change their views of one man, but also the very fabric of their neighborhood. Would they be willing to listen, truly listen? The room was alive with murmurs and shifting bodies, a tangible buzz that filled the air with both anticipation and uncertainty. Emily could feel the warmth of Mr. Thompson's presence beside her. The weight of his past loomed over them all, yet somehow Emily felt lighter. He was a man with scars both seen and unseen, and she wanted to help him share them. Maybe we could have a story circle?" she suggested brightly, her eyes darting around the room. "Everyone could sit together and listen. We could ask questions and learn. Just like we do in school." Mr. Thompson's gaze softened, it both surprised and elated him. He had spent so long alone with his memories, and now this small girl was opening a new door. "A story circle?" he asked, trying to grasp the concept. "Yeah. I mean, you could tell us about when you were a soldier," Emily urged, her enthusiasm brightening the dim corners of the room. "And everything you want us to know. Like how you felt, and why you chose to serve." Some of the adults exchanged glances, still reluctant but captivated by the courage of this young girl. Mr. Thompson hesitated, anxiety flickering behind his watery eyes. "It's not easy for me to talk about," he murmured, almost to himself. "Of course it's not," Emily replied, her voice now steady and firm. "But if you share, we can all understand. And when we understand, we can be kinder. Kindness is a powerful thing, Mr. Thompson," a voice called from the back. It was Mr. Carter, an elderly neighbor who had been watching the exchange with pronounced interest. "We all carry weight. Your story matters, maybe more than we know, even to us grown folks." The mood shifted subtly, uncertainty was slowly replaced by support. Several of Emily's classmates began to nod. They hadn't known Mr. Thompson beyond the whispers of their parents. Now he was becoming part of their world. With a deep sigh, Mr. Thompson finally looked around at the gathering faces, his heart pounding like a drum. He felt the fragile thread of hope weaving through the room. "All right," he said, his voice regaining strength. "If you all really want to hear, I will try." As he took a seat in the circle, Emily settled beside him. The other kids joined in, forming a half-circle around them, eyes wide with curiosity. The adults scooted closer, eager to absorb every word. "Okay," Mr. Thompson began quietly, "it all started in a different world. A world where I wore a different uniform." He started to share tales of camaraderie and hardship, of friends lost and love kept alive through letters. They hung on to every word he spoke, the room transforming into a safe haven where stories bridged gaps, healing replaced hesitation, and laughter danced with the solemnity of memory. Emily listened with rapt attention, her heart swelling for the man who had sacrificed so much. With each story, she could see the perspective of the adults shifting. Their faces softened as they began to see Mr. Thompson not as a figure of fear, but as a human, layered and complex. Then, just as a chuckle escaped the room at a particularly humorous misadventure from his youth, a heavy silence crashed down. The door swung open suddenly, and in walked Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Thompson's daughter. She stood frozen, her eyes wide as she took in the scene. "Dad?" she whispered, uncertainty threading through her voice. "What is going on?" All heads turned towards her, surprise etched on every face. A ripple of anxiety surged, and Emily felt the air thicken. Will this be the moment everything changes? She thought. As the room waited, she felt a stirring inside her, a sense that something monumental was about to unfold. Would Mr. Thompson finally reveal all he had kept hidden? Would his daughter, standing there in the doorway, hold the key to unraveling an even deeper understanding of the man they had come to know? Emily couldn't shake the feeling that for every story shared, there were even more stories waiting to be told. Mrs. Thompson stood framed in the doorway, uncertainty etched on her face. As the whisper of her father's stories floated through the air, something shifted within her. She had always known her father carried burdens, but she had never truly seen him in this light, surrounded by the warmth of the community, revealing pieces of himself she had been curious about for so long. "Dad, I didn't know you were here with them." Her voice was small, almost lost amidst the gathering. Slowly, she approached, inching her way into the circle of light that had formed around Mr. Thompson. As he met her gaze, the weight of all those years of silence hung heavy between them. Emily saw the trembling in Mr. Thompson's hands, the way he sat straighter, as if her presence had both grounded him and lifted him into the past at the same time. "We were just sharing stories," he said, his voice now barely above a whisper, fissured with emotion. I was trying to share what it was like, what I went through." Mrs. Thompson nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "I think that's amazing, Dad. I've always wanted to hear more about that." Her words hung like a lifeline in the room. The adults' expressions shifted from surprise to understanding as they recognized the complexities woven into the stories told. They were witnessing a moment of vulnerability that resonated beyond Mr. Thompson's tales, a reunion of father and daughter, two souls coming together to confront the shadows of the past. Seeing the emotional exchange, Emily couldn't help but lean forward, excitement bubbling within her. "Mr. Thompson," she piped up, "maybe you could tell us about your friends, the ones you wrote about in your letters?" He glanced at Emily and then back at his daughter, weighing the invitation with care. They were more than friends. They were like family, he began slowly, letting the memories wash over him. "Through good times and bad we had each other's backs. That bond was everything." As he spoke, Mrs. Thompson settled beside him, sharing the space of the memories he was bringing to life. From her peripheral glance, Emily noticed the way Mrs. Thompson's eyes sparkled with pride for her father, a proud glow that made her heart swell. They were a family, built not just on blood, but on shared stories, wounds, and laughter. "Your stories matter to us, Dad," she whispered, leaning closer to him. "They matter to everyone." In that moment, as he looked into his daughter's encouraging eyes, Mr. Thompson felt the walls he had built begin to crumble. With each recounting of friendships forged in unimaginable circumstances, the room transformed further into a tapestry of empathy. The children began to ask more questions, their voices intermingling, forging connections with the narratives of their lives. "Did you ever get scared?" one boy asked, wide-eyed. "Every day," Mr. Thompson admitted, letting a smile drift across his face. "But fear can make you brave, too." The caution that had clutched the adults melted, replaced by a dawning realization that vulnerability brought connection. Community, like the stories being shared, became an act of bravery, one where the past illuminated the path forward. As the floodgates opened wider, a wave of laughter, shared tears, and heartfelt connections began to flow. Emily felt a stirring in her own heart. She understood that healing didn't just lie in Mr. Thompson's stories, it lived in the shared silence, in the small smiles, in Mrs. Thompson's gentle encouragement, and in the collective embrace of a community starting to understand one another. But just as laughter filled the room once more, a low rumble of thunder interrupted, the skies outside darkening ominously. With the first raindrop falling against the window, a feeling of foreboding crept in. "Emily," Mrs. Thompson said suddenly, her brow furrowing. "What else is happening out there? Could the storm be an omen?" With the winds rising, Emily felt her pulse quicken. Something was shifting beyond the walls of their comforting circle, a story yet to be told, one that beckoned them all into deeper understanding and unforeseen revelations. What awaited them outside? Would the storm give rise to new stories or shake the very foundations they had begun to build? Mrs. Thompson's heart raced, a mixture of concern and wonder flooding her senses. She stood, torn between the warmth of the gathering and the wrath of the storm brewing outside. The storm was more than just a thunderhead, it felt charged, alive with the promise of change. "Maybe we should check on the windows," Mrs. Thompson suggested, glancing around the room. Emily nodded, but her curiosity clung to her father's past and the stories still left to share. "Can we keep talking, Dad?" Emily asked, her voice steadying the room. "You said your friends were like family. What were they like?" Mr. Thompson hesitated, the memories swirling in his mind. "Well, there was Charlie, always quick with a joke, even in tough times. And then there was Lisa, she kept us all grounded with her practicality. We shared everything." As he spoke, the room filled with vibrant images, the camaraderie forged in shared experiences. Laughter danced in the air, laughter that felt like a warm blanket. Mrs. Thompson remained close, her hand resting gently on Mr. Thompson's wrist, as if anchoring him to the present even as he sailed into the past. "What's the best memory you have?" Emily leaned forward, her eyes sparkling. A nostalgic smile spread across Mr. Thompson's face. "There was this one night during a storm much like this one," he started. "We were holed up in a shed, playing cards by flashlight. We thought the world was ending, but we just laughed. We faced our fears together." The room hushed, the sound of rain drumming against the roof melding with the warmth of shared hearts. Outside, the storm continued to unleash its fury, but inside, walls felt like they were coming down, one story at a time. Suddenly, a sharp crack of thunder shook the house, followed by a flicker of the lights. Emily gasped, instinctively reaching for her mother's hand. Her heart raced. The storm had an ominous edge, a reminder that vulnerabilities could exist both within and outside. "Stay close," Mrs. Thompson said, her voice calm but firm. Bodies shifted closer together, a united front against the elements. "We can always share more stories," Mr. Thompson suggested, drawing strength from their closeness, shifting from his past to offer comfort in the present. "There were difficult days, yes, but they taught me about hope. About fighting for what matters." As they spoke, the heavy raindrops sounded like a drumroll. Every heartbeat in the room echoed the collective anxiety and excitement, the need for connection. Another bolt of lightning illuminated everything, casting shadows that danced across walls. In that moment of bright clarity, Emily noticed something a flicker in her father's eyes, a mix of joy and pain that sparked with raw humanity. "Dad," she said cautiously, "do you ever feel like some stories are meant to come out during storms? Like they help us face whatever's waiting outside?" Mr. Thompson opened his mouth, surprised by the wisdom in her words. "Maybe they do, Emily. Writing those letters helped me face my fears, bond with my friends, and ultimately find healing." The thunder rolled again, echoing their emotions back at them. Outside, the storm intensified, the wind howling in a fierce waltz with nature's wrath. But inside, there was a sense of strength in vulnerability, a powerful reminder of the stories that defined their family. And as Emily realized the importance of sharing and embracing these narratives, the lights flickered again and went out, plunging the room into darkness. Gasps rose from the group, quickly followed by a chorus of laughter, a powerful assertion against the dread sweeping through. "Okay, let us not lose this moment." Emily's voice, bright and determined, cut through the tension. "Who's got a flashlight? Let us keep the stories going." But as one of the adults searched for a source of light, a sudden crash echoed from outside, shaking the very ground beneath them and sending the group into alertness. What could have caused such a sound? The storm howled louder than ever. Was this just the weather's wrath, or was something more significant stirring in the shadows beyond their walls? What truth awaited them out there, hidden in the fury of the storm? The room fell silent, the laughter fading into the background as Emily's question hung in the air, thick with uncertainty. The adults exchanged worried looks, and the atmosphere shifted sharply. "Did you hear that?" Mrs. Thompson whispered, her voice barely audible above the wind's roar. A nervous energy thrummed through them, the kind that comes just before the unknown demands to be faced. "I'll check it out," Mr. Thompson said, a calm authority in his tone, but he hesitated, gripping the arm of the chair to steady himself. The storm outside was relentless. It felt as if the very sky was tearing apart. "Let me come with you," Emily urged, her eyes wide with resolve. "We can't let fear take over. We need to know what's happening." Mrs. Thompson nodded slowly, the protective mother in her warring with the desire to shield her child. "If you go, I'm coming too," she declared. Holding hands to keep each other steady, the three of them moved toward the door, its frame a thin barrier against the chaos outside. Emily's heart raced as she stepped into the hallway, the thunder cracking overhead with an unsettling loudness that wrapped around them like a blanket of unease. As they ventured into the darkness, the clattering of the wind outside sounded almost like voices, whispering secrets of the storm. Emily felt a shiver run down her spine, a mix of fear and courage. This was not just about her father's stories anymore, it was about facing whatever awaited them, together. They gathered their courage as they stepped towards the back door. The gust of wind slammed against it, and Mr. Thompson paused for a moment, glancing back at Emily and Mrs. Thompson. "Are we ready?" he asked. They nodded, more for each other than for themselves. With a deep breath, Mr. Thompson swung open the door. The wind surged in, the gusts plastered their hair back, and the rain drenched them instantly. Visibility was low, punctuated only by sporadic flashes of lightning. Together, they stepped into the tempest. A flash illuminated the yard. A gutted tree branch had fallen, splitting the wooden fence like a piece of gingerbread. But it was something else that caught Emily's attention. A shadow darted between the trees, a flash of fur against darkness. "Did you see that?" Emily exclaimed, pointing into the tempest. "There's something out there." The three of them exchanged incredulous looks. Curiosity overcame trepidation, and Mr. Thompson took a step forward. "Let us check it out," he said, leading the charge into the wild roar of the storm. As they made their way toward the movement, their hearts raced not with just fear, but with a thrill of possibility. The creature moved again, and they spotted it, an unmistakable silhouette of a large German shepherd, barking furiously as it ran toward them through the underbrush. "Hey there, buddy!" Mrs. Thompson called, her voice warm, catching the dog's attention. The animal froze, as if momentarily unsure, then bounded forward, mud splashing around its paws. Only then did they notice something distinct, a piece of fabric, fluttering near the dog's collar. Emily's heart skipped. Was it a lost item? Or perhaps something more? "Let us see what he has found," Mr. Thompson urged. They all huddled together under the torrent, excitement fizzing in the air. As they approached the eager canine, the hair on the back of Emily's neck stood up, her hands trembling. What would they uncover together in this storm? But when the dog finally calmed, and a secret lay before them, would it be a direction to hope, or a dark uncovering of truths long kept hidden from them? The storm raged on, but inside Emily's chest, a quiet determination burned. Every heartbeat whispered an unspoken promise: whatever they found tonight, they would face it together. Emily took a step forward, the rain drenching her but her spirit lighting the way. The dog jumped around them excitedly, its dark eyes gleaming with an energy that seemed to mirror their adrenaline. The fabric blew toward them, revealing a small, soaked handkerchief with a faded insignia, a family crest. "What is that?" Emily wondered out loud, reaching for the piece of fabric. Mrs. Thompson knelt down beside her, shaking her head. "Maybe it belongs to someone nearby, or even someone who used to live here." "There's more," Mr. Thompson called, pointing to a muddy patch of earth nearby. A series of footprints led into the woods behind their home, unmistakably human and unsteady, as if someone had fled in a hurry. Emily felt a mix of curiosity and concern. "Do you think someone's in trouble?" she asked, glancing at her parents. Mr. Thompson's face shifted into a look of determination. "We can't ignore this. We have to find out who or what is out there." The dog barked in agreement, then began to lead the way, eager to explore. They followed cautiously, navigating between the trees, dodging falling branches and muddy puddles. Each step felt heavier than the last, the world illuminated by flashes of lightning that danced among the clouds. "Do you think we'll find someone?" Mrs. Thompson's voice trembled slightly, not from fear but from the weight of the mystery they were diving into. "We have to hope we do," Mr. Thompson said, his eyebrows knitted in concentration. "But we need to be careful." Arm in arm, they pressed forward, the tall trees towering above them like guardians. The dog paused, its nose twitching as it sniffed the air, then broke into a run once more. The sound of wind and rain was a wall of noise, yet Emily's heart beat in sync with the urge for discovery. "What if it's something bad?" Emily whispered, afraid of her own thoughts. Mrs. Thompson knelt down, pulling Emily into a reassuring hug. "No matter what it is, we're in this together. Remember that. We protect each other." Feeling emboldened by her mother's words, Emily nodded and pressed on. Just then, the dog darted into a small clearing, barking furiously at something nestled in the bushes. When they caught up, Emily gasped. Tucked in the undergrowth was a small backpack. It was worn and faded, but the bright patches of paint on it told a story. Look! Mr. Thompson exclaimed, bending low to inspect it. This looks like it hasn't been here long. Holding her breath, Emily took a step closer. What if it belongs to the person we're looking for? Fear danced in her chest, but it mingled with an undeniable excitement. Mr. Thompson hesitated, glancing at his family as if weighing the very air around them. Let us see what's inside, he finally said, pulling the zipper carefully. The sound of it echoing against the wind felt pivotal, like the intake of a deep breath before everything changed. As the zipper moved and the bag opened, the storm raged on, drowning out their thoughts. Rain poured onto the backpack, soaking the contents, but it was the glimmer of something shiny that caught Emily's eye. When they saw what lay within, everything froze. Emily's pulse quickened again, but this time, anticipation surged alongside worry. What they found could change everything they thought they knew about this night and perhaps about their own lives. But would this discovery bring them closer, or tear their world apart? The storm held its breath alongside them, offering no answers as darkness wrapped around them like an unforgiving shroud. The backpack lay open, water cascading over its contents. Emily saw a splash of colors: a sketchbook, paintbrushes, and a small, silver locket that gleamed under the lightning's bright flashes. She picked up the locket, and a wave of cold rainwater trickled off her fingers, pooling around her feet. Wow, Emily whispered, holding it up for her parents to see. It's beautiful. But whose is it? Mrs. Thompson stepped closer, her brow furrowed in thought. There's something written on it, she said, reaching for the locket. She carefully turned it over, revealing the delicate engravings. It looks like initials LS. LS, Emily echoed, the initials swirling in her mind like a mystery yet to be unraveled. The storm around them felt charged with electricity, as if nature itself anticipated their next move. I think we should keep looking, Mr. Thompson said, glancing deeper into the woods where the footprints had led. This could be a clue to finding the owner. With the dog now at their heels, the family pressed into the darkness of the woods, adrenaline coursing through them. The trees swayed ominously, their branches reaching out like fingers, both a warning and a beckoning. The backpack's contents felt like the beginning of an adventure, something exciting lurking just beyond the rain-soaked shadows. As they carefully navigated the uneven ground, Emily's gaze kept drifting back to the locket. Do you think this person is lost or in trouble? She asked softly, her voice barely louder than the drumming rain. Her father paused for a moment, turning back to her with a serious expression. They could be. But knowing we're out here helps. We'll find them together. Together. The word echoed in Emily's mind, and she felt an unexpected strength from it. They rounded a bend, and the rain gradually eased, giving way to a faint glow. What's that over there? Mrs. Thompson whispered, pointing towards a flickering light that danced between the trees. With cautious optimism, they stepped toward the light, their hearts racing in unison. The rustling leaves whispered secrets as they neared, drawing every ounce of bravery from their cores. The dog barked and dashed ahead, its tail wagging with the thrill of the chase. Suddenly, the light flickered more wildly, and in that moment, time seemed to pause. The light was a lantern, swinging gently from a branch. Underneath it, a small figure crouched low, the rain soaking through ragged clothing that had clearly seen better days. Emily's breath hitched. Is that? She began, the shock rendering her momentarily speechless. Mr. Thompson stepped forward hesitantly. Hello? Are you okay? The figure looked up, wide eyes shimmering in the dim light. For a heartbeat, everything fell silent, an electric moment where fear and hope muscled for dominance. Please, the child whispered, voice barely peeking through the storm. I need help. The words crashed into Emily's heart. She glanced at her parents, then back at the small figure. In that instant, she felt the urgency boil within her. Every worry about what they might find faded away. They could help. Don't worry. We're here, Emily called out, stepping forward, wrapping her arms around the locket. We won't let you face this alone. What would they uncover about this lost soul? And would the discovery lead them to something even greater, a truth not just about the child, but about themselves? As the rain began to fall harder again, darkness closed in, pressing against their shared hope. All around them, the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the answer. Emily took a hesitant step closer, her heart pounding so loud she could almost drown out the storm. The figure peered up at them, a mix of fear and gratitude in those dark eyes. It was a girl, perhaps around Emily's age, with tangled hair and clothes that looked 2 sizes too big, drenched and hugging her small frame. "Who are you?" Emily asked gently, aware of how frightened the girl must be. I'm Lily," the girl stammered, her voice cracking. "I got lost in the storm. Can you help me?" "Of course," Emily exclaimed, instantly feeling a connection. "We found your backpack." She held up the locket, the silver shimmering in the weak lantern light. "Is this yours?" Lily's eyes widened, and she nodded slowly. "Yes, that's my mother's locket. I thought I lost it forever." A glimmer of hope sparked in her eyes. Emily carefully placed the locket in Lily's outstretched palm, feeling the cold metal pass between them. "We'll find your parents, I promise." Behind her, Mrs. Thompson reached for her phone, trying to get a signal in the downpour. "Let us get you dry and warm first," she said, concern etched on her face. "We'll figure this out together." As they huddled, waiting for the light to brighten, a sudden flash of lightning lit up the woods, startling all of them. The dog barked, trying to protect its new companions, while the wind howled through the trees like a restless spirit. "Are you alone out here?" Mr. Thompson asked after a moment, crouching down to meet Lily's gaze. "I was with my brother," she explained, tears pooling in her eyes. "But he ran off when the storm started. I couldn't keep up." Her shoulders trembled, and it tore at Emily's heart. "We'll find him, too," Emily said resolutely, feeling a determination swell inside. "We'll bring you both home. You're not alone now." For the first time, a small smile broke through Lily's worry. "Really?" "Yes. We are a team," Mr. Thompson affirmed, as if solidifying the bond in that moment. The warmth of their assurance wrapped around Lily like a comforting blanket. The thick air buzzed with urgency. They turned from the lantern, every step forward seeming to stir the shadows around them. The rain lessened but still fell in relentless sheets. The trees whispered secrets, and each sound felt magnified in their small circle. "The path splits up ahead," Mrs. Thompson warned, glancing at the fork ahead. "Which way do you think we should go?" Lily hesitated, looking between the paths as if searching for a hidden sign. "I think we should go right. It's deeper in the woods where I last saw him." "Okay," Emily said, her voice steady. "Let us do it." Together they forged ahead, the soft glow of hope replacing the fear that once drowned them. The risky adventure felt alive, a vivid tapestry woven through each shared heartbeat and quiet prayer. Suddenly, just as they rounded a worn bend, the dog paused, ears perked, glancing back. Was it a sound or just the rustle of wind? "Hold on," Mr. Thompson whispered, signaling them to stop. "Did you hear that?" A distant calling filtered through the rain, almost muffled like a faint echo. "Lily!" The call rang out like a beacon. Lily's face lit up, hope combining with urgency. "That's my brother." With one resolute stride, they dashed towards the voice, their hearts racing with renewed determination. Each step swam in promise, as did the connection that bound them all together. But as they sprinted into the unknown, what unexpected truth awaited at the end of the call? Would they truly find her brother lost, or had they opened a door to something far greater? The air buzzed with electrifying excitement as they charged through the thick woods, each heartbeat echoing with the hope of reunion. Emily felt the strength of her family and newfound friend, Lily, beside her. The dog bounded ahead, guiding them with fervor, barking joyously as if it sensed the growing fire of connection. Lily! Where are you? The distant voice echoed like a guiding star, a beacon of hope in the chaos of the storm. That's him! Lily exclaimed, her eyes shining with renewed vitality. He's close. Mr. Thompson, determination etched in every line of his face, led the charge with Emily and Mrs. Thompson flanking Lily. Together they charged toward the voice, each step fueled with the promise of family, belonging, complete understanding. Keep calling. Emily encouraged, her own voice mingling with the rain. We're almost there. Carter. Lily shouted, desperation in her voice. We're coming. Don't worry. The woods had morphed from dark and daunting, to a place alive with purpose. Moments passed, and the call was getting clearer, more visceral. Lily. A boy's voice rang out, breaking through the layers of rain like a laser cutting through fog. Then, like a scene unfolding from a dream, they stumbled into a small clearing, illuminated by flashes of distant lightning that illuminated the chaos around them. Standing beneath a sprawling oak tree, shivering and soaked to the bone, was a boy Lily would recognize anywhere: her brother, Carter. Carter. Lily dashed forward, her voice catching in her throat. Relief engulfed her as she wrapped her arms tightly around him. Lily, I was so scared. He cried, instinctively clutching his sister as the waves of relief crashed over them both. This is Emily and her family. Lily said, pulling back to include Emily in the moment. They helped me find you. Emily felt her heart swell, witnessing the power of connection unfold before her. Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Thompson stepped forward, the words of kindness and reassurance bubbling like a brook. We're all safe now, Mrs. Thompson smiled, her gentle hand resting on Lily's shoulder. You're not alone anymore. As the family embraced, the storm raged on, the wild winds swirling around them, but their bond radiated warmth even in the wild chaos. They were four souls entwined in a maze of courage and compassion, forged together through shared fears and newfound strength. Let us get you both home, Mr. Thompson announced, a fatherly pride breaking through the fatigue in his eyes. We'll find your parents and dry off. You can tell us everything over a warm cup of cocoa. Lily and Carter exchanged glances, thrills of uncontained joy bubbling to the surface. The fleeting shadows of worry melted away, replaced with pure appreciation for the unexpected allies they had found along the way. As they navigated back through the woods, the rain began to taper off, leaving the earth glistening with a fresh coat of life. They moved together, Lily and Carter by Emily's side, with Mr. and Mrs. Thompson bringing up the rear, holding hands and guiding the way like an anchor to the youth around them. I was really scared I wouldn't find you, Carter admitted quietly, looking up at Lily, and a flood of warmth washed over Emily. She could relate to the energy of family, the strength that comes from knowing you're never truly alone. Now we can tell each other stories, Lily said, glancing back at Emily, who beamed with delight. About what it was like out here. Yes. Emily exclaimed, her mind racing with possibilities. All it took was one night, one storm, and a little bit of courage to transform fear into connection. As they stepped into the backyard of Emily's home, they were greeted by a soft light spilling out from the windows, the warmth of familiarity wrapping around them like a hug. Together they stood at the threshold, the door to new beginnings before them, every heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of hope. Thank you, Mr. Thompson said softly, kneeling beside the children. For showing us all how to listen to our hearts. Your courage has changed this community. Not just for Mr. Thompson, but for all of us. And in that moment, Emily saw something profound in Mr. Thompson's eyes. They shared in the understanding that stories wove them all together, a fabric of dreams, reminders of resilience, and the belief that healing begins when we dare to connect. This was hope, waiting like a sunrise, fresh and radiant, the kind that ignites the spirit and binds a community in compassion. As the final raindrops fell, Emily made a silent vow. She would be the voice for everyone who felt unseen. Little did she know that this journey had just begun, but there was magic in their hearts. The tales of Mr. Thompson, people like Lily and Carter, and everyone who had ever felt the weight of silence would rise again further transformed. And the bright spark of connection would become the fuel to inspire every corner of their community, one story at a time. You need to subscribe now for the stories that will change your heart. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like to feed the algorithm and help us inspire more connections. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this ending. Your voice matters. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us grow together.